Now, on your Tuesday morning drive.
Is this a joke? No, it's not. That's just ridiculous.
24 hours after an overhaul of the video review protocols will continue to get reaction from players across all tours. Do they believe this is a step in the right direction? As we count down the days to 2018, what goals should you be making on health, family, and fitness? Our doctor is in the house to provide a roadmap for your New Year's resolutions. And the stars are out on the show this morning. Fresh off her first pro victory,
a breakthrough win for the Californian teenager, Angel Yin.
Angel Yin joins us to reveal if her Solheim Cup experience helped give her the confidence to grab her first title. Plus, after earning medalist honors at Web.com Q School, Lee McCoy stops by to tell us what lessons he learned from playing with Jordan Spieth. It's all ahead on Morning Drive this Tuesday, December 12th, 2017. Welcome inside Studio AP. I'm Damon Hack alongside the insider Tim Roseford, a PGA Tour winner in Robert Dameron, and the Pac-12 representation of this table just doubled. Welcome, Nota Begay, four-time winner on the PGA Tour. What's up, pal? What brings you to our city?
Oh, just coming in town for the PNC Father-Son. It's a great week for us. Get to see some real interesting pairings, and it's great to be back in Orlando.
Well, hey, Damon, doesn't the Yankee Conference deserve a little reference here for me?
What do you? Oh,
you are right.
Stanton.
No, you are right. Yeah,
oh my
come on.
goodness.
Sorry to break up the flow.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. I thought Nota came here just to be with me for a day.
A couple of PGA Tour winners side by side. You missed Cameron.
Yeah.
That sentence has been uttered very often. Well, welcome to you both.
Let's get the Pac-12 knuckle bump.
Yes, we did do knuckle bumps. We do knuckle bumps. UCLA and Stanford, the only time that will happen. Now, yesterday, guys, was a huge day in golf. That's what's happening now. The USGA and the RNA announced new video review protocols when applying the rules of golf. A working group unanimously agreed to implement the following measures for January 1st of 2018 to assign one or more officials to monitor the video broadcast of a competition, to help identify and resolve rules issues as they arise, to discontinue any steps to facilitate or consider viewer call-ins as part of the rules decision process. Video will be limited to material obtained from the committee's broadcast partner. Other videos, such as from individual smartphones or cameras, will not be used. These protocols will be implemented by the USGA, the RNA, PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, European Tour, Ladies European Tour, and PGA of America from January 1st, 2018. The USGA and the RNA have also approved the adoption of a local rule to eliminate the additional two-stroke penalty for failing to include a penalty on the scorecard when the player was unaware of that penalty. All working groups will introduce this local rule for 2018, and the scorecard penalty will be permanently removed when the modernized rules of golf take effect on January 1st, 2019. For more, let's say good morning to Lauren Thompson.
Good morning, Damon. Also glad to have Nota Begay in studio with us. We've got a great morning ahead for you. Now let's get to some more responses. And yesterday, a lot of our viewers, you were chiming in yes or no answers. Also, just a few words, but Stacey Lewis, a two-time major champion, she said that she likes the new rules from the USGA and the RNA this morning, but still subjects the players on TV to more scrutiny than the rest. One of the obvious things that we were pointing out yesterday with this modification. Luke Donald, a former world #1, he said good news on no more viewer call-ins allowed in golf. But the real question is, how do these people even find the number to call in? He's saying, Damon, that this is one of life's greatest mysteries.
One of several mysteries in the game, but that's what the USGA and RNA are trying to do. They're trying to kind of make the game simple, simplifying, modernizing the rules. Rosie, you're always working the phones. What did you find out yesterday?
Reached out to Thomas Pagel late last night. He was going to dinner in St. Andrews, and to dumb it down a little bit even more and simplify it, he's basically saying, hey, this is on us now, players in the committee, we've got this. He used those exact words, and they're not relying on someone at home anymore. In other words, yesterday marked the death of the rules police.
But do they have this, Nota?
Well,
are you happy with what you saw?
What did Thomas have for dinner?
Well, that's coming in my next.
That's the real
Stay tuned
right there.
I got it right here. Just hang in there.
I think that anything that adds more clarity, establishes clearer boundaries for players and the officials, and I think that any precedents that can be set by officials in terms of establishing who's in charge. I think that you leave the armchair quarterbacks on the couch, let them do what they want, but leave the rules to the rules experts, the people that are studied and they understand all the interpretations and all of the different infractions that have gone historically speaking, and can go in and enforce the existing set of rules and hopefully make it a little bit more clear for the players to understand.
Yeah, I think if you want to just go back to the simplest form, which is what I like. I test your card and I protect the field by watching you when we're paired together, and vice versa. I think we've got that. I don't even think we need the officials monitoring video, to be very honest with you. I think if you want a complete level playing field, like Stacey Lewis said, only a handful of players and only a handful of shots are actually on video. So, you know, you can't cover everything, so the most level playing field is just leave it between you and your partner.
Interesting also, guys, even, you know, different networks cover golf differently. Some networks say, show the stars. I'm only going to show the Tigers and the Phils and the Spieths and the Days, and the other networks may say, you know what, I'm showing everybody. My goal this week is to get every single player on coverage. But so that, you're not going to have a level playing field no matter how you slice this pie.
Also, if you're talking about level playing field, they said they're only taking the broadcast. So if I walk up to a rules official and I'm a spectator and I shot something with my phone that just looked out of sorts, are they instructed to ignore it? I mean, are they to say, oh, I saw the video, but I can't do anything about it? I love getting rid of the second penalty, the second day, the next penalty, the 4 shots. That's great, but I think we're still opened up for some gray area.
What about
they are saying no to the iPhone photos because they feel like those could be doctored.
What about intent as well? You know, the idea that, well, the player can say, you know, I didn't intend to do this. Are the players, you know, I imagine some old school players, I would love to hear the likes of a Tom Watson or Lanny Watkins, what they would say about some of these rules where players can say, well, you know, I didn't think I was doing this. Are the players giving too much of a benefit of a doubt under these new rules?
Well, I think that's one of the interesting discussions that's happening in the locker room right now, and a lot of the players that I've talked to, especially last week at Hero, we're talking about intent, and I think that there's a really gray area that confuses players at times because in other sports, players don't mean to break the rules, but the fact is they break the rules and the penalties enforced. I think in golf, I think it has to be a little bit more clearly defined. The rules officials need to enforce it on a regular basis so that the players do understand that, hey, if I break a rule, whether my competitor calls it on me or it's seen on TV now by the rules officials, the penalty is going to be enforced.
You spoke to some players at the Hero. Did you speak to some players yesterday as well?
I did. 2 major championship winners, both of whom have been involved in situations like this. Patty Harrington, you guys remember in Abu Dhabi, he also at Wells Fargo. There was another time on the European Tour. But Noda, he almost said exactly what you said. Very simplifying things, speed up play, creates clarity. And then I reached out to Paul Azinger, who had a little different take on it, quite honestly. My initial thought, as he said, was how could you not use TV? It's available. It's just part of the coverage of the event. I just think nobody wants to unwittingly make a rules violation and get away with it. He's obviously okay with the extra 2-shot rule on it, but I've always felt like, it is Azinger's word, a TV call-in was necessary. To say we don't care, we're not going to look at it, or we look at it, not bring it to any intention, I don't think that's going to solve problems if there's an argument.
One of the interesting things that happened last week, where you want to sort of look at the intent sort of issue or interpretation or intent kind of situation, was with Hideki Matsuyama, and that sort of situation where he hits the shot and then apparently, you know, it looks like he tries to, you know, repair the divot or whatnot, and unintentionally broke the rule. From what I looked at it, I thought it was, but then it was defined later that he didn't break the rule. So, you know, it's one of those situations here where hits a chip. A lot of players were leaving chips short. Ball rolls back and looks like, you know, he steps on a divot or whatnot. But I don't know if that was intentional or not intentional. Well, but you're not allowed to do that.
No, you're not. But the great thing about golf, and what will continue, is the most rules infractions, unintentional, are going to be called on by the player themselves. That's not going to change. It's really up to me. I mean, I'm sure we've all broken rules. I know I have, unintentionally, and you stop for a second and go, I just messed up, guys. What do I do? And I get a penalty. That's just the way we do it.
I'm fascinated by the video reviewer, the monitor. I want to see what he or she looks like, how much footage they're watching. Will we know who he or she is and when they speak? Will the folks at home be able to learn and wonder what's going on? I want to see if they can be under a hood like they do in the NFL, where they got the official underneath the you know, watching the reviews. I'm fascinated by that because we don't know who that person is.
NFL, they got 4 or 5 different shots of that same play, you know, and that's the other difference here. It's probably not going to be as complicated or as intense chance as the NFL.
We hope not. It'll be fascinating to watch. Let's send it back to LT.
Yeah, and we'll first see that in effect at the top of the year at the Tournament of Champions. But in the news today, Mark Hensby, winner of the 2004 John Deere Classic, has been suspended for 1 year by the PGA Tour for violating their anti-doping policy. This comes after the Australian failed to provide a drug testing sample upon notification. Hensby will be eligible to return on October 26, 2018. But now moving on to Justin Rose, the Olympic gold medalist and major champion, is teeing it up in the final event of the 2017 Asian Tour, the Indonesian Masters in Jakarta. Rose called the event a great way for him to end the year. Brant Snedeker, Dylan Fratelli, and Channel-Taiwan are also in the field. And also happening this week, the PNC Father-Son Challenge. This will take place at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club Grand Lakes in Orlando for the 6th straight year. 20 teams consisting of major champions or those who have won the Players' Championship, along with a family member of amateur status, will be playing for the Willie Park Trophy, which is a replica of the original Open Championship belt. So checking out that field, we've got a total of 18 sons, 1 grandson, and Gary Nicholas Jr. playing with his grandpa Jack, and 1 father, Justin Leonard's dad Larry. He's going to be joining his son, who hoisted the Claret Jug in 1997. Overall, 9 World Golf Hall of Fame members and a combined 57 major championships and 13 players' titles. And speaking of notable father-son relationships, John Daly's son, John Patrick Daly, who goes by Little John, earned his first win of the year on the International Junior Golf Tour in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Now, the victory came after a 5-player playoff in the IJGA Invitational. This came after Little John Daly shot a final round 73 to go with his opening round 79 at Harbor Town Golf Links. And by the way, John Daly's going to be on Morning Drive tomorrow. I love this post by him. High fives and congrats to my son LJ for that victory. Hashtag my boy, and then another hashtag let's go. For now, though, as our Tuesday rolls on, it's time to open up the notebook as Damon Hack is joined again by the Insider.
Indeed, LT, we're talking about father-son. And I tell you what, David Duval, we followed him at the height of his power. We covered him. He didn't smile a lot when he was hoisting a Claret Jug, becoming world #1, winning a Players. Why did winning the father-son last year mean so much to him?
As you said, as far as experiences go, it's as big a thrill as any I've had in golf. Now, It's not as big as the Open Championship or some, the shooting 59 or any of the other things that he did, obviously. But to be out there, not only with Nick, it was one of his godsons. I'm sorry, one of his godsons, one of his sons. Let's just make it one of his sons. You know, have him in on the bag at 24 years old. He caddied for him in the Open Championship the year before over at Troon, you remember. And the big thing, and then have his other 2 sons on the bags, to have Dino and have Braden there. And I hit balls with Braden out at Bay Hill. He's going to be playing with David real soon. He's really high in his game. And the other thing that was impressive to him, Damon, is the fact that they played so much better in competition than they did when they were at home. That Nick really stepped it up when he had to. They shot 62 in a scramble format to win by 1, and it was just such a great scene to see Duval, as you said, always looking for a good family situation, and what that brought out in him as a broadcaster and as a person was magnified there, real close in the father-son.
Speaking of team golf, we saw last week the QBE shootout, seeing Tony Finau playing alongside Lexi Thompson. What did Tony take away from playing alongside a major championship winner from the LPGA Tour?
Well, it's interesting. You know, you think about who's going to carry who in a situation like that. The golf course is 800 yards longer than Lexi faced in the CME Globe just recently, but after traveling across the country, Tony was nice enough to send me a text on what she meant to the pairing. Everything impressed me. Her distance, her ball striking, her putting, everything. I will say that she plays with no fear. All the great ones have it. Capital I, capital T. And that's what he showed her. I don't think he'll be looking for a different partner next year. After a statement like that, and after the way, obviously, Lexi stepped up.
Yeah, high praise from a PGA Tour winner, 2 of the longest hitters in the game in Finau and Lexi. Now, speaking of great strikers of the golf ball, we had Jim Crane, Houston Astros owner of the Floridian, in studio last week. Any MD bounce, from his game? How's he swinging it these days?
He must have been filled with confidence after hitting balls in the simulator, and Charlie called it or maybe you did, Damon, a stripe show.
We all were calling it a stripe show.
It was incredible. Crane struck out 18 in a college World Series game, D2, so he, obviously athlete, plays off scratch, very good. So anyway, they leave here, we fly back down to the Palm City, and they had the pro member going on.
Stop, wait a second.
Yeah, this happened. This was the opening of the Butch Harmon par 3, and guess who makes the first hole-in-one the first day it's open?
Come on!
Yep.
Jim Crane made a hole-in-one.
147-yard 8th hole into some breeze, tight golf course. I went out and saw it. Knocks 8-iron in the jar. And he's playing with Blaine McAllister, his partner. Blaine looked down in the hole. You could see those initials close up. It's a JC on it. Ricky Fowler was there. Butch Harmon was there to witness it. And Butch told me the story, and Crane confirmed it. He said he went up there, looked at the ball in the hole, and of course, Crane, with the World Series champions, the owner of the Houston Astros, leans back and says, "Boy, I've had a pretty good year, haven't I?"
That's fantastic. Listen, if you're a struggling pro, come to Morning Drive and your game will improve. Great notes from Rosie. Let's send it back to LT.
Damon, the MD bounce works for everyone but us. We still have yet to card a 1 on our scorecards. Well, coming up later this morning, we are pumped to welcome in the winner of the Omega Dubai Ladies Classic, Angel Yin, the 19-year-old who also played on this year's U.S. Solheim Cup team. She clinched her first professional title this past weekend. She's going to join us from China. She's also going to fill us in on the unique way that they celebrated that W. And with just 20 days left in 2017, it's a good time to get our minds around the ways to make the new year better than ever. Dr. Ara Sapaya is going to lay out the easiest and most impactful goals that he says you can achieve in 2018 when it comes to fitness, family, and your health overall. Plus, a story of redemption, the lessons Lee McCoy learned from last year's plans being completely derailed, then taking it all the way to medalist honors at last weekend's Web.com Tour qualifying tournament. The University of Georgia alum is going to take us through his roller coaster journey and answers a burning question we have about his clubs. It's all on the way on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Studio Scenics provided by Kapalua Golf. No to doing that homework.
If you
He's
adopt
ready.
me, can we play in the father-son?
Still suffering.
Come on, Dad.
It just was not.
Be good stuff.
7 to lose.
By the way, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Nick is a stepson, not a godson.